40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
The 2018 Visit Conway Cambrian Rally marks the start of an exciting season in the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series. Current champions, previous champions, and waiting champions all out to do battle and of course have some serious fun on some iconic rally stages. Llandudno would once again provide the seaside start to the rally before heading out to the forests, most recently used on the UK's round of the WRC. Last year's champion Stephen Petch leads the crews away. The title defence was underway, the pressure on as he comes here with the number 1 on the door.
It's going to be a tricky day. I think there's some very good competition out here, so I'd rather not be first on the road. I'd rather have a few lines on the stages before I started, but I'm looking forward to it. Just want to get started.
And joining those guys on the start list this weekend will be a whole host of others, all capable of taking victory and indeed the title this season. The result this weekend really would be too hard to call, but the action promised to be great. So with the cars crossing the start line in Llandudno, let's head out to the stages and catch up with the action from the morning. Fastest out of the blocks on the opening stage of the day would be Matt Edwards and Darren Garrett. Sadly, that wasn't to last. The pair would clip a log and pull a wheel off the car, leaving them to Super Rally in the afternoon. This would mean Paul Bird and Jack Morton take the lead in the championship standings after the morning stages were complete. A lead of 11 seconds would be theirs. They felt that there was more to come, but with the result already looking good, they probably didn't need to worry too much about finding any more pace. Swapping that older Focus WRC for the newer Fiesta World Rally car this season would be a sign that Hugh Hunter and Rob Fagg were serious about this title fight. And they get off to a great start here at the opening round, second place in the points at this stage. The change to WRC power seemed to be suiting Luke Francis and John Roberts. Third place overall for now, settling in well after using the opening stages to learn the car. They were 5 seconds back from Hunter at this stage and looking to reel the Welshman in after service. Ocean Price and Dale Furness bring the Spencer Sport Mitsubishi Mirage out for a run this weekend in a late deal. Ocean's first time in a right-hand drive rally car, so those opening miles were going to be a big learning curve. The mirrors might just stay intact. Fourth place for now was a good start to the rally. Things were not quite going to plan though for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson. A misfire early in the event wasn't helping their times, nor were a few untidy moments along the way, but fifth place certainly wasn't a bad place to be in. Level on times with Price after 3 stages. Julian Reynolds would make an appearance this weekend, his first time on the Cambrian Rally, enlisting the help of experienced co-driver Patrick Walsh. This would be a debut in the car for Reynolds, but he was clearly getting to grips with it well, lying in 6th place at this stage. Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams, meanwhile, lead the way in the B13 class after stage 3. And after a mixed season in 2017, it would be a welcome place to be on the leaderboard at the midpoint in the rally, lying in 7th place overall. And just behind them on the results were this pairing, Charlie Payne and Ian Windress. A parts campaign last season meant the victory was out of the question. But could 2018 bring this pair the chance of the title? For now, it will be 8th place overall. It will be a great start for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy in the highly competitive Group N battle. They take the lead there with a good margin, but as we know, there is no backing off if you want to keep hold of that lead. So rounding out the top 10 at this stage overall were Ian Joel and Graham Wood, bringing that Escort Cosworth out for another season in the BTRDA. A welcome sight as well amongst the more modern machinery. They lie 2nd in the B13 class at this stage. After the championship title fight went down to the wire on the final round last season, there would be no doubt that Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence will be back to do battle once again. 2nd place in the NR4 class for the pair at this stage was a good start. And it would be that close battle that tempted Tom Norton back out onto the stages once again. Will Rogers alongside for this season. They get right back into the groove as well, with third place in the NR4 class at this stage in the rally. And for Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere, it will be third place in the B13 class. A great start to their campaign in the BTRDA, showing right away that they had the pace to be competing with our regulars. Sadly for Simon Rogers and Stephen Clark, things wouldn't go to plan. In fact, it would end in quite dramatic fashion, the pair crashing out of the event soon after passing our cameras. The stage will be stopped due to the severity of the incident, but thanks to the work of Cam Rescue, the marshals and everyone else on the scene, both crew members would be okay. The less than could be said for the car. So with the morning's stages complete, is the lead for Paul Bird, keeping those local crews behind for now. On to the afternoon, and sadly we'd lose Tom Norton and Will Rogers with mechanical issues, only passing our cameras on the start line of the stage. So that would mean change in the NR4 class. Dan Moss and Sam Allen stepping up to take third place in that fight at the end of the event. There wouldn't be any change in the B13 class through the afternoon though. Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere would hold on to that position to the finish, taking the final step on the class podium. In the NR4 class, things would stay the same at the top. Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence coming out with second place, unable to get themselves the victory this weekend, but second place was a great start to their campaign. So that, of course, meant that victory would go to this man, Russ Thompson. Andy Murphy alongside, as always. They led from the morning stages, holding on to that victory in Group N by 15 seconds by the finish. And just like the Group N class, the B13 class would stay the same into the final stages of the rally too. Ian Joel and Graham Wood bringing the Escort Cosworth home second in the class, as well as an impressive 8th overall in this big high-profile entry. And indeed, it will be one better for Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams, taking the B13 class victory and ending the event with 7th place on the leaderboard. For Charlie Payne and Ian Windress, they might not have been as far up the results as they would have wanted, but the season was only just beginning, of course. 6th place for the pair was still a great start for Payne's first full season back since that championship victory. There's frustration for Hugh Hunter and Rob Fagg though. Some time lost in the afternoon, a puncture in stage 5 to be specific, would lose them confidence and time on that leaderboard, eventually finishing with 5th place. Still, some good points to take into the next round of the championship and some good pace, showing that the fight would surely be there for round 2. Despite a lack of time in the car and a lack of experience on these stages, it would be a great result for Julian Reynolds and Patrick Walsh. They reached the finish of the Cambrian Rally with 4th place in the points, but would we see the pair out for a full campaign? The results in stage 5 would take a shake-up, as we lose Luke Francis and John Roberts, the pair ripping a wheel off the car. A disappointing end to what had looked like a promising run for the pair. That, of course, though, was good news for those around them. Ocean Price and Dale Furness ending the rally with that final step on the podium and just 4 seconds off 2nd place. And in that 2nd place would be our reigning champions, Stephen Petch, Michael Wilkinson. Things picking up for the pair in the afternoon stages. The time's looking good. They move up to take that runner-up position here at round 1. And it's a great start to that title defence, of course. But showing their early pace in the championship this weekend will be Paul Bird and Jack Morton, taking maximum championship points here. And of course, with the next round on Paul's home patch, it was the perfect start to the season for the pair. So confirmation then of the results here this weekend at the first round of the BTRDA Rally Championship, which looks like delivering maximum performance and maximum excitement as always. Paul Bird taking those maximum points. Stephen Petch happy to get himself up the results to bag those points for 2nd place at the opening round. So with the Gold Star category wrapped up, it's on to the Silver Star. A field of 2-wheel drive crews would be led away by Ian Rowlands in that new Avenger, followed by brother John Rowlands and a few familiar names and cars, all looking to start their season off with a victory. Over the morning stages, it will be the early lead for Jehan Rowlands and Emir Hall, out this season in the Jordan-sponsored Avenger, a car that certainly garnered a lot of interest at the Autosport show, a change from the usual Escort, most notably a switch from B12 to historic spec, but that wasn't slowing them down at all. It was the usual Escort for John Rowlands and Glenn Latham, and it will be second place, 14 seconds back from the lead. The times certainly weren't helped with a big moment on the opening stage, enough to knock the confidence of anyone. Luckily, the pair do get away with it. It was a family affair up at the front, with the Rowlands brothers leading the way. It will be up to Chris Powell and Jim Lewis to end the morning with third. The 1400 Sunbeam pair, probably not who you would expect to be fighting for podium places amongst the higher-powered entry on the whole. But the times were good, and the pair were certainly giant-killing this weekend, and we have seen them do that before. Just outside the podium places, it will be fourth place overall for Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. The pair were second in the B11 class at this stage as well, and 27 seconds back from the Sunbeam up ahead. Owen McMacken and Lee Taylor lead the way in the B12 class at this stage in the rally. The Escort pairing just 4 seconds back from Davison in the overall times too. For Rob Dennis and Andrew Boswell, it will be third in the B11 class for now. The times around them were close, so they couldn't afford to back off at all. Second of the historic crews on the results after stage 3 will be Ernie Graham and Robin Callard. They were just a few seconds back from Dennis up ahead and will be the only ones here this weekend in the H2 class. The times overall will be shared with Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor. They take up second place in the B12 class for now, as well as lying in 8th place overall in their DS3. Their advantage in that place wouldn't be a big one though, just a single second in fact, with Steve Hopewell and Clive Jones taking 9th place at this stage in the event. And rounding out the top 10 were Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine, the times good enough for third in the B12 class. Looking at some of the classes outside of our top 10 leaderboard then, it would be the lead in the B10 class for George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. The pair also leading the way in the new BTRDA R2 Cup. Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth, meanwhile, would take the lead in the Fiesta ST Trophy. It will be close at the top as well, but they managed to gain themselves a few seconds of an advantage for now. It will be a battle they'd share with Zach Hughes and Tom Wood, new to the class this year, clearly looking to prove a point and going well so far. 14th place overall and second in the class. Barry Jordan and Paul Wakely bring out the Fiat 131 this weekend. And of course, that was going to be a popular entry. The car looking great on the stages, the pair lying second in the H3 class as well. It will be second place in the B10 class and of course in the R2 Cup for Bob Vardy and Keaton Williams. The introduction of the new R2 Cup was bringing out some more competition in the B10 class this year and already looking to be an exciting season in store for us. So with the morning stages out of the way, it's a Rowlands 1-2 at the top of the Silver Star leaderboard. Plenty of close battles happening throughout the leaderboard, so plenty to keep our eyes on through the rest of the rally. They'd also be changed to second in the N3 class. James Giddings and Sean Cunniff would take that position in the afternoon and of course with it take second in the Fiesta ST Trophy. No change though to second in the class. Bob Vardy and Keaton Williams remaining in that position, taking second in the R2 Cup as well. A good start to the season for the pair. Bit of a shake-up in the top of the N3 class. We lose Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth. They retire with a broken drive shaft in the 5th stage of the day. That, of course, means that it's left to Zach Hughes and Tom Wood to take the lead in the class and eventually reach the finish to take the N3 class victory, the first-placed Fiesta ST Trophy competitor. Series sponsor Barry Jordan with Paul Wakely alongside just misses out on a top 10 finish this weekend, ending the rally with 11th place overall, keeping hold though of that second place in the H3 class. And rounding out the top 10 by the finish were Ernie Graham and Robin Kellard, the H2 class pair, the only ones in the class, so that was safe. It was a good result overall though, a good fight and a good day on the stages. There'd be no change to the results for Steve Hopewell and Clive Jones. They keep hold of their 9th place overall to the finish, a good steady drive from the pair. Frustratingly and rather dramatically, that couldn't be said for Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor, their event coming to an end in stage 6 in a ditch. So that of course promotes Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine up the class and overall leaderboards. They end the rally with 8th place overall, 2nd in B12. It will be a great weekend for George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. They take the B10 victory and of course victory in the first round of the new BTRDA R2 Cup. A great start to the season for the pair and for George's step up to R2. It's a place lost though through the afternoon stages for Owen McMacken and Lee Taylor, ending the rally with 6th place overall, but it didn't change the class result. They take the B12 victory this weekend. That movement in the leaderboard would be to the advantage of this man, Rob Dennis. Andrew Boswell alongside, stepping up a place to 5th overall, ending the rally with 3rd in B11. No change to that 2nd in the class though. That position remaining in the hands of Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. A good start to the season to take a good class and overall position by the finish. There was some time loss on the board for Ian Rowlands and Amir Hall in the afternoon, a puncture dropping them down from the lead into 3rd place in the rally. It may not have been the finish that they'd been looking for, but they have proven a point in that new car. It would, though, be a fantastic end to the rally, take nothing away from Chris Powell and Jim Lewis, sneaking that 1400 Sunbeam right into the top of the Silver Star leaderboard. 2nd place for the pair here at the first round of the series. But that does mean it's victory this time out for John Rowlands and Glenn Latham. The moment this morning didn't seem to have slowed them down at all. They take the victory by 24 seconds back in Llandudno. So confirmation then of the results here at an exciting round 1. Not the Rowlands domination at the top that looked likely this morning, but the name on the leaderboard at least doesn't change. A good end to the opening round for a number of crews this weekend. With the Silver Star fight decided, it's on to the 1400s we go. Chris Powell leads the way here at the opening round with local driver Heffin Lloyd Davies behind on the road. Tommy Meadows brings out the Ford KA again this season for another go at this 1400 championship. Over the morning stages, there was no doubting the pace of Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. They take the lead early on with over a minute and a half's advantage in the category after 3 stages. This really was looking like it would be theirs to lose through the afternoon. Best of the rest at this stage were Gaz Carlos and Will Atkins, 2nd place in the 1400 category and with a small advantage in that position themselves. That advantage would indeed be small, only 12 seconds to be exact, and the crew chasing them down would be Heffin Lloyd Davies and Aled Edwards. 12 seconds probably didn't seem like much, so they would be ready for a big push through the afternoon. Of course, it would take a puncture, a spin, or possibly even less to change this result and the leaderboard on its head. Perry Gardner and Toby Brick team up in the Nova for the championship this season, ending the morning with 4th place on the results. Not a bad place to start. The lead in the 1400 C class as well. Pete Gorst and Phil King step up to the 1400 S category this season, swapping the Saxo for the Nova in their 2nd season of rallying. Things were going okay for the pair as well, lying 5th at this stage. For Chris Bush and Robert Smith, it will be 5th place in the category. The pair just 2 seconds back from the Nova up ahead too. It was a welcome return to the series, but unfortunately not the best of starts for Scott and David Sloan. Things not going to plan, they go off on the 2nd stage of the day. No damage, but they were stuck, requiring the help of the spectators and our ever-ready cameraman to get them going again, losing a few minutes though in the process. In Rally First, it would be the lead for Sam and Liam Johnson. The pair hadn't been on gravel since September last year, so they were still finding their pace and settling in. Unfortunately, though, things were not exactly going to plan as far as the technical bits go. The car burning through over 1.5 litres of oil in the first 3 stages of the day, so something clearly not right under the bonnet. Matthew Badley and Sean Hughes bring the Lupo out this season in the new Rally First 2-litre category, and they end the morning with the lead there, as well as second place overall. And for Owen McConaughey and Rodri Williams, it will be third place. The times nowhere near the leaders though, the pair running under Super Rally by the time they reach service. So with the morning stages complete, it's the runaway lead in the 1400 category, but those other places still all up for grabs. Right now though, it's Chris Powell and Jim Lewis out in front. On to the afternoon stages then here at the Cambrian Rally, and there'd be no change for Owen McConaughey and Rodri Williams. Things were not exactly going to change, but at least they get the seat time in the car, all valuable at this early stage in the season. And there'd be no change in the rest of the Rally First category either. Matthew Badley and Sean Hughes ending the rally with second place. A good run in the new Rally First 2-litre class this weekend. But that means the Rally First victory for Sam and Liam Johnson. It wasn't without its problems. They rip the exhaust off the car, lose the brakes, and get the car stuck in third gear. And all that with the car drinking oil faster than fuel. It takes a bit of effort to get the car back to the finish to make sure they claim that first victory. The day hadn't gone to plan for Tommy Meadows and Shannon Turnbull. Super rallying on the event would see them way down the leaderboard, but they do get to the finish on the stages they completed at least. There'd also be problems for Pete Gorst and Phil King, losing the brakes at the end of the penultimate stage on the day, forcing them to just drive the final miles with the finish in mind. They end the rally with fourth place in the 1400 category. It would be a good end to the rally for Perry Gardner and Toby Brick though, taking the 1400C victory on their first time in the car together, as well as the final step on the 1400 category podium here at the first round. There'd be change at the top of our leaderboard as well. We lose Gaz Carlos and Will Atkins as they break a shaft in the 5th stage of the day. That means it will be a second place finish for Heffin Lloyd Davies and Aled Edwards. Not anywhere near the winners, but taking a good advantage in second themselves. But that means a commanding victory this weekend and maximum points to Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. The Sunbeam pair had been mixing it with much more powerful cars, indeed taking a fantastic result in the Silver Star category as well, taking the 1400 category win with ease though here at the opening round. So confirmation then of that victory for Powell, the perfect way to start the season. Local driver Heffin Lloyd Davies happy to take second place. That's all for this episode of Special Stage. Join us in a week's time for more UK rally and off-road racing action. And in the meantime, you can check out more videos on our social media. Thank you as always for watching.